This is a presentation on studying about the emergence of untrained tax and mans in children with autism. This is jointly presented by Harini Chandramouli and Jennifer Jordan. Skinner described about the functional independence of verbal operants in his work Verbal Behavior. Pituzdottir et al. In 2005 proved that training one verbal operant produces the other operant untrained. The purpose of this current study by Finn et al. Is to point out how the untrained verbal operant emerges while working on the trained operant. Pituzdottir et al. Had chosen a task which had limited discriminative control. However, Finn et al. Had eliminated this limitation by choosing a task which has physical properties providing more discriminative control. It is important to study the transference between mand and tact because they are the most elementary verbal operants, and their transference, that is like learning mand while tact training or learning tact while mand training, is the most natural process of learning language for typical children. However, children with autism need additional help in this area. So more skills could be acquired in shorter duration when we apply the RFT principles of mutual entailment and train mans during tact or tact during man training. And there is tremendous scope for generalization and maintenance with these skills. The experimental question that will be studied is what was the frequency of emergence of mans with tact training and tacts with man training across structured tasks.
For the methods, participants were 4 males with ASD. They were 3 to 6 years old chronologically and 1 to 3 years old functionally. They did the study in a small windowless room or a classroom at a table with the construction materials. Those construction materials were 2 separate sets of toys that snapped together in one way or another. For CT1, it was a set of wedgets, and there was a 4 pieces glued together. And for CT2, it was magnets, and again, 4-piece structure glued together, with each piece given a 3-letter nonsense name, like CAD, should, TIV, etc. And that was so they could ensure there was no learning history associated with those. The dependent variable would be the number of correct verbal responses in the MEND or TACT testing. For TACT testing, they were presented a piece and asked, what is this, or what's its name? And for MAN testing, a participant was asked to put together a structure previously backward chained. One piece was missing, and when the participants took note of this, the experimenter asked, what do you need? And the correct response would be the nonsense word for the item that it assigned. And whether or not autoclitics were used was recorded as well. Again, data collection was correct or incorrect responses. Correct response would be the accurate target response form and not any others, which was the made-up word. Incorrect would be anything else, or if the target was not emitted in 20 seconds in testing, or if another was emitted before within 5 seconds of the target response. And again, the autoclitic, if it was used, was recorded. For IOA, a second observer recorded 46% of the sessions, and that total was 88 to 100%. And for treatment integrity, a second observer was scoring the experimenter's behavior for 20% of the sessions, looking for correct instructions, accurate consequences, and that was 99.6% accuracy. The design was a multiple probe across tasks, looking at the effect of training one verbal operant on the omission of another. For the procedure, a prerequisite before doing any of this was to ensure that the participants could man and tact items in their environment. 2 of these used autoclitics and 2 of them did not. Preference assessment was done and a token-based economy was used. Then there was pre-training, in which they did the backward chaining to do the 2 construction tasks. Then they did tact training, where they were taught to tact each piece with its made-up name. Then there was man training, where they were given pieces of one of the construction tasks with 1 piece missing, and they were asked to put this together. And when they noted that there was a piece missing, the experimenter would say, what do you need? And testing was the same as training, but there was no reinforcement.
First, we're going to replicate TACT testing. What is this?
That is Daz.
What is this?
That is Rick.
What is this?
That is this.
This is man testing for the first construction unit. Put that together. What do you need?
I need Daz.
What do you need?
I need Tim.
Build this. What do you need?
I need Nam.
So these are the results. For Juan, he never used the correct topography to man or tact. He used I want in the color. He continued to man, not tact, for probe 1, using, again, the color. They changed the way they were asking to what's its name, and he was correct for the remaining 3 on CT1. On CT2, post-testing, he manned for all 3 sessions and maintained mans for CT1 and 2 of 3 sessions, and he used autoclitic frames. For Stephen, the pre-test, there were no mans or tacts that were done correctly. For CT1, post-test, tacts were done 4 of 4 times, but the frame was inconsistent until CT2 man training. For Jeff pre-training, there were none emitted correctly, but almost all autoclitics were done. The manned frame on CT1 and 2 was where it was mostly done. The only deviance was on third trial. After man and tact training, the man frame was 100%. The tact frame was not until he was taught directly in CT1, and then it was 100%. Liam, during pre-training, there were no correct mans or tacts, but post-tact training, there were no correct mans, but correct tacts with the correct autoclitic. After man training CT1, performance on CT2 was not maintained. Mans that were directly trained were inconsistent. They did more training, and the 3 subsequent test sessions, he got the right tact 100%, and the man, he got 3 of 4.
The results show how 3 out of the 4 participants demonstrated functional interdependence between mans and tacts. One participant, Liam, showed functional interdependence on only the second construction task, for which the tacts emerged after the mans were trained. Juan had tacts emerged after the SD was modified, and Liam did not show emergence of mans after tacts. He needed a few pure man prompts. This study has demonstrated that untrained verbal operands emerge with trained verbal operands when the tasks are similar in form. The limitation of the visual cue of the puzzle task has been eliminated in this study by using a construction task. The main limitation we see is the lack of control of the verbal stimulus. So if we ask questions like what is this and what is its name, it could result in different responses across participants. Hence, it is beneficial to provide pre-training to the technicians to ensure instructional control. These are our references.